Let's cast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Forum Thread Podcast. I am Wadabra, and here with me tonight, I have these lovely people, beginning with the long-lost Tejan Lee. Nobot.
No one's gonna get that joke. Like at
Stole
all.
my thing.
Mr. Wartburg.
Hi.
Chaos Meta.
Hey.
And Lucas Third.
Shemai, everyone.
What?
You just said words that
At
no one
least he
understood.
said words, so we can still sync the audio. It's alright.
He didn't use an animal sound.
Look,
Slightly
you,
better.
you guys have to learn to be
Alright.
cultural.
So,
We are American, and 4th of July is on Saturday. Suck a
American.
Happy birthday, Canada!
What?
So-
fuck.
we're already getting off to a really rough start before the podcast began.
Exactly how it's supposed to start.
We were informed that it's rude to talk about sheep to a Welshman, and I don't know the story behind this.
Okay,
so,
alright. Have I got
Lucas,
more
I
time to
think
drink?
you need to do some splaining, okay?
Okay.
Take a shot.
Chug.
Okay. Well, back in the day, when the Earth,
I like this story already.
when the Earth,
We're going medieval.
when the
Which
Earth
day?
was slightly younger than it is now.
Was the Earth flat then?
Is there a specific? Are you talking about a specific period of time?
No,
or?
just
He's talking about back in the day.
ages
Was it
ago.
the
Don't
Ages
interrupt
ago.
his
flat.
story.
Like July?
The Scottish,
July's today.
the Scottish were always said to have had sex with sheep, and it was the joke. And all of us laughed merrily and pointed at them with their stupid kilts and their intestine bag flaps. But then suddenly, Scots in a PR stunt, like from out of left field, pinned it on us, the Welsh, that we had sex with sheep, and now that's what everyone believes, and it's very sad, and I just don't know what to do with my life anymore.
How did the Scots do that? How did they just convince
So
everyone
you're
that
just
the
salty-
Welsh are the fuckers? The sheep fuckers.
They were fighting for their independence. They needed to pin on somebody.
No, but how does one go about doing something like that? I mean, if you already have one group pointing the finger at the other group group points the finger back, and then everyone's like, "Oh, well, yeah, that must be how it works."
Maybe it was more of an inside joke. Like the two groups were just doing it, between themselves. Except in order to turn it around, then they pointed the fingers at them, but also told everyone else.
Nobody knows what happened. One day we all just woke up, and then suddenly the world was laughing
You
at
all
what I
just
us.
thought.
woke up and
Here's
you
what
were
I thought
accused
happened.
sheep fuckers. I got it. Oh.
This is where I thought the story was going. Like, they were, like, the Scottish were the sheep fuckers, and they were just like, whoa, like, oh, no, but then, like, some famous Welshman actually fucked a sheep, and then everyone like, yep, look, there he's doing it, and
Actually,
everyone's like,
that's
yep,
where I
it's
thought
the
it was
Welsh.
going too. Yeah,
He's
that's what I
doing it.
expected.
No, just
Maybe that's what happened, and they were just too ashamed to admit it, so they struck it from the history records.
there was a dark age. There was a dark part in history. We emerged, the sheep fuckers, and the Scottish emerged clean.
I like how you're called Wales, and you have a dragon on your flag, which is awesome.
Yes.
But you should have a whale on your...
No,
So,
because that's
Well, they-
that's not the actual name of my
Or a
country.
sheep.
Leave me alone.
They have neither a whale nor a sheep on their flag. I think that's important to note.
Yes.
We have America on our flag.
Well, it sounds to me like they're overcompensating. I mean,
Our
dragon.
flag is literally America.
That is pretty cool.
I like my dragon.
Oh. Mhm. Isn't Hogwarts in Wales?
I think it really counteracts the.
Is it Hogwarts in Wales?
Yeah, the set.
No,
The
Hogwarts is in
castle.
Universal Studios.
I don't know about that, but there is a certain.
I mean,
magic
in
to
real
the place.
life,
Yeah,
guys, come on.
Duh. No, I believe that is somewhere in Great Britain.
I visited like one
wizard?
'Cause
one
the
of the
art-
castles that was used for filming in the first movie.
What
I
house were
believe.
you in?
It was the part where the Quidditch match, like that field area in front of the castle.
The Quidditch pitch.
No, not even the Quidditch pitch. It was the training when they were first training on the brooms. That area, sorry.
The training pitch. Oh, it was in the
like
courtyard.
that area, the castle
courtyard with the guard
background. We got to visit there,
Guardian.
and in that place there was a couple like actors as Dumbledore and Harry Potter, and It was really silly.
Why would Dumbledore be out in the courtyard? He's shown no interest in that courtyard.
You're showing a lot of enthusiasm towards Harry Potter. I never pinned you as a Harry Potter fan.
And you know that guy who you saw, who you thought was
Yeah.
who you thought was Hagrid? It was actually a drunk Scot, like just sitting in the corner of the place, like, mumbling to himself.
Surprisingly, that's what happened in the book too. Like Hagrid was just a drunk Scot.
And they even did a
Was he
comical,
chilling with a
like,
Welshman with a
little
sheep?
magic act in front of everyone. You know, those like small tricks, like pouring a bottle and nothing actually coming out.
I just
Stuff like that.
I just love the.
Lucas, I'm so happy you're on the podcast. By the way,
I just have this idea now of like a Scotsman like coming off his drugs and realizing what the fuck is going on.
Why would you put me in charge of all these animals? This is literally the worst decision. Mike, there was a dragon that just ate a child. Oh, that's normal here? What the fuck? Where am I?
I thought you.
Why is my book trying to eat me?
Drugs.
Speaking of dragons eating people, Chaos, why the hell have you been playing so much Skyrim here recently?
Because I discovered how to use the Nexus. And there's so many silly mods.
You just got lost in it.
It's amazing. Just this pure amount of stuff that I've added at this point. Like, I have now an army of identically armored followers instead of just the one that you're stuck with originally, for one example.
Do you have a
You
clone
call that a
army?
cult?
I could. There's one
You're
mod which I
basically
think
the
creates a clone of your character as a follower. Haven't found where that entity is supposed to be, but
He actually created his own followers different than what
There-
is already in the game, and he actually gave them all backstories and gave them all names and everything. It's a
there
very
was
sad
one
place.
mod that I wanted to point out because it was so funny. I kind of wish I was like streaming it or something, because it's a mod that adds a new follower, but gives that follower a backstory. And so this backstory is fully like narrated and character acted by these people that created it. Yet it's very clear that they're not using the same professional mics as the original voice actors for Skyrim.
So it sounds like a JonTron type thing where he's like off in the distance, like,
Yeah, it's basically like some of the voices. No offense to them, but some of the voices sound rather questionable because it sounds like literally just someone on a headset when it's supposed to be like this big, intimidating elf walking up to you and is like questioning you where the follower is, and then he just.
but it's really
Yeah,
some
and it's just
14-year-old
suddenly
kid
just the
asking his
change
mom for some
of-
Red Bull.
Mike falling.
Oh,
It was just
I have that
amazing.
problem.
There's like a cat in the background.
So,
Like, what the
that sounds a
fuck?
lot like the problem I sometimes have playing Ark Survival Evolved. All the characters that you create, they all are. If it's a male character, it's this big, beefy, muscle-bound hulk of a character, and sometimes you'll get like these 5 or 8-year-old little boys that'll be playing, and you got this big, muscular, hulking character, and then they'd like type, "How do you do the microphone?" And they finally figure it out, and then they talk, and the character's mouth actually moves when the person talks. And this little kid voice comes screeching out of this big burly man, and I'm like, "Oh God, no!"
Just
He's like, "Can I join your
Kill the
group?" I'm like,
dinosaurs!
no,
so you just gonna
go away.
How do I
This
360
comes up
YOLO
to-
fakie
Hello,
scope?
sir. Would you help me get a Petrodon to ride on?
No, one of these little kids like asked me for a
I wanna play
slingshot.
that
He's
game
like, "Well,
so bad."
before I go, can you give me a slingshot?" I'm like, "You know what? Actually, I will go and make you a slingshot
then he shot him in the
just
face.
so you will go away faster." Oh.
And then he became.
He then
the
shot him
Bart
in the
Simpson
face
of
and
the
walked
jungle.
away.
So, by the way, Chaos, you need to be playing this game with me because it's fucking awesome.
I want to play with
You also
you.
need to be playing.
This
Yeah.
game.
I wish I
is
could play.
awesome.
We all
You
should.
should be playing too.
I could get on there. Maybe.
Oh,
You
yeah,
all,
I-
you
I've
all
done-
need to be playing.
Speaking of games,
What times?
how's Batman? Anybody play Batman?
Pretty damn good.
I've 100% completed it.
Wait, what Batman game
You're
would you be
100%.
speaking
When
of?
did it-
Didn't
wait.
it come out like 4 days
I got it
ago?
on Tuesday.
Actually, 8.
It's a Batman game. They're not really meant to be like really
No,
hard.
no,
Yeah,
no,
you
bud.
completed Arkham City,
No, bud.
450 Riddler challenges.
No, bud, you shut up. I did all of the Riddler stuff. Screw you. I want the
Malcolm
murder
told me that
Riddler.
it actually outsold The Witcher 3.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Batman.
If I ever...
Of course, that's popular.
Batman.
Yeah, but like the
What
last
is The Witcher?
iteration was buggy as hell, and then the Warner
On
Brothers
what?
were like, "Eh,
On what
sorry,
console?"
suckers." I don't remember what console it was, but maybe it was on
Probably
PC. I know they
PC.
actually had to pull. They pulled
PC
it from
sells
Steam,
like
actually.
PC sells like 20% of what the consoles do. Like PC is like
Yeah, but
zero
they actually-
market
that's what
share.
they did. This time was worse time around. They actually had to pull it from
Yeah.
Steam because everyone was
And-
returning it.
The No reported today that Warner Brothers knew they were probably going to have to pull it, and they sold it anyway.
Yeah, that's what they're like. Yeah, well, it's probably shit, but we're gonna
So
put
what-
it out there
what-
broken anyway, just to see who buys it.
What's the big problem with it?
Frames drop.
The big problem is like they didn't put a lot of like they only made it work on certain things in PC, but there are like millions of configurations that it can go onto. So
So it's mostly PC that's not working.
yeah, I had two
Console's
crashes
fine.
on the console,
Yeah, the console seems to be working.
and that was
alright.
it.
So you're saying console gaming is superior?
I would
Is
say
that
yes.
correct?
I think he
For
just said
just
that.
ease of use, it's not even close because like you don't have those like there
Holy
are-
shit, Meta Legacy.
every console has the same processor, same RAM, same hard drive, give or take, unless you put an external in there, but it's
A
similar.
RAM. Would that be kind of like a sheep?
I hate you so much.
You know, standardization
Who's
helps
hosting
games.
this call? Get ready. To
I
get
am.
nobody
We
from
can
the
just
call.
dodge
If
that.
Come
we
on,
can just,
that's been
we
his
can
best
just dodge that
contribution
RAM.
yet.
Continue.
If
Let
he
him
brings
stay.
up sheep one more time, though, like seriously, boot him from the call. He'll come back.
What the
just
fuck is that?
Sorry, that's just me. That's just me.
Oh, it's you.
That's me.
Yeah, it is you.
That was me just playing really sad music.
So I still have to play the
Is
first
that all
Batman
around me are
game.
familiar faces?
yes.
Yes, it was.
How could you play them out of order, Tejan? That's
I haven't played. I
I
haven't played
heard
any. of
two
them.
notes of that and I figured it out.
What's the first one called?
Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum,
Great
and
game.
that's a great game, right?
that one was
Terrible
critically
ending though,
acclaimed, I thought.
because it's a massive button smashing boss fight, which sucks.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Sure.
But
Those
the
sound
rest
like
of the
most
game, the
skilled.
story was amazing. Like the story of the entire universe is freaking boss as hell. Great Batman story, awesome stuff.
So has he? So Arkham City is this one, right?
That was Arkham Knight. Was this one?
Arkham Knight. So is
Arkham
that
City.
which one? Like, are they all in sequence,
Yes.
or didn't they go out of order?
The Origins did. It was a prequel, but while Rocksteady acknowledged it, it really doesn't play a factor in this game at all.
Okay. So this is the finale.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
this is the end of their trilogy.
Does he die at the end?
Are we gonna get spoilery? It's been a week.
Yeah, be spoiler.
Do
I'm
it.
never gonna play
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna
not
be
gonna
it's gonna be
die.
a little bit before this one actually comes out.
True
True
enough.
because I have to release the completed ones.
Yeah.
We're spoiling.
Not all
We're
at
spoiling
once.
Meta Legacy. right now,
Essentially, he doesn't die, but like he
does die.
depends on how you finish the game because you have to have 100% of the game finished to get the final ending. It will not pop unless you have 100% done.
In my opinion, he dies. But carry on.
I don't think
so. Is
he does.
that like the Dark Knight Rises kind of ambiguous?
Exactly.
Whoa.
It's more
Bullshit.
of like he fakes his own death and
Okay, so basically,
that kind of thing.
Basically, what I think happens, he walks in. Oh wait, no, we're actually going full on spoiler now.
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
go ahead.
walks into the house,
Spoiled the
activates
shit.
Nightfall Protocol, which him and Alfred get killed, or they go away forever, and then
Not Alfred.
at the end of the game,
Yeah, Batman would not kill Alfred. That's why I don't think he's not dead.
well, that's why I kind of think Alfred is kind of like, "Are you sure you want to do this now?" Just kind of like, "Are you sure you want me to die with you, sir?"
It's more like, are you sure you want to quit? Like, 'cause
Sir,
he's still
sir,
alive.
I don't
please.
know, okay.
I
don't
think
want
you're
to die.
jumping to the way far extreme. He just doesn't want him to quit.
I
Like,
don't know,
I
I
was
don't-
wondering.
There's just an air of
Yeah.
finality to it. That's all I'm saying. There was just an air of like this could be serious, and he could have just because like there would obviously have been a search afterwards, and they would have found bodies, and I don't see Batman being a guy going to a morgue, pulling a body, and then throwing it in his house, and be like, okay, now let's blaze this bitch. But
You don't.
Now, how boss?
I totally
would a-
do. Like, he's the
How-
guy who has a plan to take down the Justice League. Of course he has a plan to fake his own death and make it perfect.
I don't know.
How boss would it be if there's a Batman Beyond?
He's
Part of
the
this
suit
universe.
is actually something you can get for Arkham Knight.
But like that's the next game. I would probably go ahead and play.
Oh
that.
yeah,
that one,
if
definitely.
somebody picked it up, I think that'd be a great transition to a new franchise because Terry McGinnis is awesome and his story of like all that stuff. That's some cool shit.
But
It's awesome.
what I was going to say is that if you do the 100% completion, which I'm going to say now, if I ever meet the man who voiced Riddler, I'm just going to punch him in the face, say, riddle me this, and then start stabbing him with like a riddle knife, and just go,
Yeah,
riddle
like,
me.
he did an amazing job of making you hate that character.
Just stabbing him repeatedly, going, riddle me this, riddle me this, riddle me this. As a
I wish they
riddling
could've
hole.
got-
Is that something
like
that you have to
Gruntilda.
hear over and over because you're
Yes.
completing all of his quests?
When you
Riddle
You
me
gotta hear
this,
his voice all the
Batman.
time.
when
Oh, is it like Gruntilda from Banjo?
I wish they could have got the guy who did him in the animated series. What was his name?
look,
John Glover.
Look.
He was Lionel Luthor in Smallville.
the
Oh, really?
Glover.
Yeah,
the,
he was the Batman the animated series Riddler.
the standard
Glover was fun.
Nobody played Glover, no bud.
the standard riddle test that you get
That's
throughout
true.
the game. If you fail one, he's like, "Oh, Dark Knight, it appears I've defeated you mentally," and it's just no.
It's like bullshit.
Just shut up.
like,
Just shut
I'm
up.
gonna restart this game.
But
So how satisfying is it when you beat 450
This one's
Riddler
243.
quests, and he's like, "Oh, I guess you're smarter than me." You're like, "Yeah, I just beat
No,
you
no.
450 times out of 450
It's
times."
243.
no, that's not what happens. He actually goes, "You cheated." I said, "Oh."
He's like, "No, I didn't.
But anyway,
Well, it's because
I may have
he's
used the cheat guide, but I didn't cheat."
But if you do get the 100% completion, the ending is basically two thugs are like taking on this couple and their kid, and then they look up at a roof and then it's an image of Batman, but suddenly he flies into the sky and the world goes red and he charges at them, and like everyone's wondering what's happening there. In my opinion, or it is
Superman.
no.
I think it was supposed to be Battle for the Bat.
It's
like, did
Nightwing.
you ever read that comic storyline where like Bruce Wayne dies, or that everyone thinks he's dead? Like who becomes Batman? Like Dick Wayne, or not? Jesus, Dick Grayson.
Dick Wayne.
He becomes. He takes the mantle, but
Dick
Jason Todd is
Wayne.
also trying to be Batman at the same time, and he's just straight up murdering people.
Everybody's trying to
See,
be
I have a different theory.
There are 7 Batman.
Exactly, and like that's what I think they were kind of hinting at. I think that'd be amazing DLC. Like that'd be awesome. And if maybe they'd finally serve Nightwing correctly because they served him like shit in this trilogy.
My opinion of it is that since all the criminals in Gotham were exposed to the fear gas, like during the game, Batman has left a legacy of fear so deep that when they try to commit a crime, they see him. And like the couple's just kind of standing there thinking, what are they staring at? But it's actually them just hallucinating
doing?
Batman.
And they're curling up on the sidewalk, pissing themselves,
Don't
crying.
you see it? The Batman.
Yeah, and that's my interpretation anyway. Because Batman was like, I need a legacy that like lives on. So if Batman fakes his death and then
Wait. Maybe he wasn't real the entire time.
oh my god, maybe it was
He
a
was
ghost.
a
It's just
figment
been
of their
scary the
imagination,
entire
having a
time.
figment of Joker's imagination in his head. That'd be fucked up. That was the best part of the game, was how they worked Joker into it. It was awesome.
How'd they do that?
Have you guys played City?
Nope. I have not played any of them.
Okay.
Have not.
Are you ever going to?
cares?
If I do,
No.
it'll be long enough for me to not remember
Okay.
this.
In that, like, basically, Joker injects his infected blood into Batman, and then, like, Batman has to make a cure. So he goes about doing that, makes the cure.
Does he Scorpius him?
What?
Like Scorpius. When he like
I'm confused.
Scorpius interjects his personality into John Creighton,
Kind
and then he
of.
sees him constantly.
Oh, geez, you went Farscape. Holy shit, I did
Yeah.
not see where you were going with that.
What is
An amazing
The
sci-fi
best
show
show
you
ever.
need to watch. Jesus, I have not heard that reference in a long time. But yeah, it's kind of like Return of the Joker, which was a Batman the Animated Series movie. But
Right,
instead of Tim
right.
Drake, it's Bruce Wayne.
Huh.
And it was really cool. And they didn't tell anyone, but they got Mark Hamill to come back and do the Joker. It was awesome.
Nice.
And then they
the
got
best.
Kevin Conroy to redo the "I am Vengeance, I am the Night, I am Batman" line. It was amazing.
Did he
Like-
ever say, "I am the goddamn Batman"?
No, but he said that line, which is I think the best Batman line of all time because it's Kevin Conroy saying it.
Yeah.
Damn good. And as he's saying it, he's slamming Joker's face into the wall. It's amazing.
I'm the goddamn Batman. I wish it was that.
Yeah, but that's too Frank Millery. Like that's too on the nose.
And I hate Frank Miller, but
it's
I love
too
that.
like
phrase.
it's too on the nose for him to say. People to say it about him makes total sense. He doesn't. He's not going to say that about himself.
He doesn't need to say the goddamn
What-
Batman.
What about Dick Wayne?
Hey,
Assholes.
if he officially got adopted, that's his name.
Can I
Yeah, and in some continuities he was. But
want to play Mad World again.
yeah,
Every time.
So you said he's there but not there in the game.
basically-
yeah,
Or how
he's
does it work?
inside Batman's head.
It's basically the Joker blood actually starts turning people into the Joker, and Batman gets exposed to the fear toxin, so he projects Joker because he doesn't want to turn into Joker, but then Joker's kind of there, saying, "You're going to turn into me any second now, aren't you, Brucey?"
Yeah, and his commentary about the stuff that goes on in the game
Brucey.
is so damn good.
So he'll see a Joker and a random person and just start beating him up?
Not even
No,
a
he's
random
just-
person, just anywhere.
He's just sitting on the ledge talking while Batman's trying to do stuff and things like that.
Mhm.
He's just there, like a hallucination. And
Yeah, Batman sitting on the couch with his petroleum jelly just trying to wank one, and then all of a sudden, boom, Joker.
Just let me lend you a hand, Brucey.
Those are the moments where he turns into the Joker,
yes.
and Batman still hasn't
He's
caught
just
up.
laughing maniacally. His fucking neighbors are like, "God damn it, he's at it again."
He's Jokering again.
There's
But
also-
Lucas, what did you think of the Arkham Knight himself?
It was good. It was good. I mean, they completely threw me off with that bit where they show his character being shot in the face, but
Yeah.
I didn't think, okay, there's no possible way it could be him then, but then
That part where he died,
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy.
Well, originally, I think most of the
He
comic book
died?
fans immediately knew who it was going to be.
it's pretty much simple. It was
So there's a character in the game called the
Arkham Knight. That's what he's known as. But he's
Is
a
it-
character who's been a part of the Batman continuity for a long time. Which is
Is it
why they
Azrael?
said... No, he's in the game, though. Michael Lane is in the
Okay.
game. And he's actually got a
But he's
really
dead
fun,
now.
interesting side piece, which is why I wish they would have done the Battle for the Cowl storyline, which I think they still could, in DLC. Because it's really set
Is
up
it
well,
Anarchy?
especially through his thing. Anarchy's in the game, too, but no. It is Jason Todd.
Oh, of course it's Jason Todd.
Exactly. The immediate reaction was, "Oh man, it's Jason Todd, right?" They're like, "No, it's not Red Hood. It's the Arkham Knight, new character, the whole nine yards." Because the comic book fans we all immediately said it was Jason Todd, but we're not the mainstream audience. I've seen a bunch of people bitch "Oh, it was too predictable" and stuff. But people who read comic books are such a
85% of the people were surprised, and that's what matters.
exactly we're such a minor
I was just
fraction
surprised.
of the total of people who play the game and have read the comic books at the same have done both. Of course, they're not marketing it to us. We wouldn't make them money.
They also do this thing where when you hallucinate with Joker, he plays scenes for you. There's a scene where he shoots Barbara Gordon.
They
and breaks
redo the
it.
Killing Joke scene. It's
And
amazing.
they also redo a scene where Jason, it shows him getting beat with a crowbar and then it shows him getting shot. Because that's what Batman thought happened, but what really happened was Joker kept him alive, and put him in Arkham.
For a year after it was closed down.
But
Though I do wish they would have worked him into the earlier games. Because the reveal, if you aren't connected to the character, the reveal means nothing. And he was only referenced twice, 10 minutes before you meet the character. That doesn't make the reveal very powerful.
I don't know, because I thought it was very powerful, seeing Joker do that to him.
Yeah, in the but it would have been interesting to see that play out, an in between, the Mass Effect, the Arrival DLC, where it was you got a bridge between the two games. That would have been really cool. But they would have tipped their hat as to what was going on. But it would have been it would have made the story much more powerful than what it actually turned out to be. But
So yeah, someday I have to play these games. I'll get to it.
You do.
When the franchise has been 10 years old.
you feel
That's what I'm
like
gonna get
Batman
to.
when you're playing. When you're in combat, you're on the streets, you're just beating the shit out of criminals with your fist. It's amazing.
Leaving them
The combat
unconscious.
system is
I tried to
the
play
combat
first
system in this
two.
one is fantastic.
Never joined the Spider-Man 2 game
Oh.
when it came to just swinging around the city,
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
like Spider-Man.
And then you
very
The
much
best
like
part of
that.
that game is the
Leave your
tutorial
webs there?
with Bruce Campbell.
Dude, no, the best part of that game is that you actually leave your webs everywhere, and then the farther you progress in the game, if you have 1,000 hours, not literally, if you just have
Because that's
How much time have you been playing that game? Are you still playing that game?
I had it on the Xbox. No, my game crashes if I try to load that one because there's just webs everywhere.
What are you doing with somebody
It's they're
webs?
just
Are we talking about the same guy or same one, or is there multiple?
yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
That'll never happen.
Which
for me,
Spider-Man
but-
2?
No, wait,
There's one
wait,
for the,
the
the
Amazing
game and one
Spider-Man
for the
2?
movie.
No, it's just it's the it would have been not Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
So
It's
the game that
original.
came out in 2004.
Toby.
Yeah,
Damn you.
The one with
Toby.
Bruce Campbell tutorial.
yeah. The narrator just made the game for me. One of my favorite narrator moments is that in the first Spider-Man game, one of his hints or things, he just randomly joked that he was going to have a sandwich.
Yeah.
And in the second game, he commented on how people talked about how we didn't actually eat a sandwich in the first game. So on the mic, he's actually like, see, I'm eating a sandwich now.
Yeah, that game
is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like,
I didn't play
responding to the like fans talking about the game.
Do you know who that voice actor was?
I don't know his name.
Have you ever seen The Evil Dead?
No.
Was it Dick Wayne?
I don't know who Bruce. What?
Bruce Campbell did the narration for
Fucking
those
kidding me?
games.
You don't know who Bruce Campbell is? Oh my god.
I know who he is. It's just I don't know the
He's
name.
the Chin. He is the Chin.
Like
Campbell.
Is he related to the Foot?
Yes, he knows him well.
We need a trio of Bruces. We've got Bruce Wayne, Bruce Campbell. Now let's talk about
So
finding
no
Nemo. so we
Army
can
of
have
Bruce
Darkness.
Banner.
No Army of Darkness for you guys, like ever.
Army of Darkness, isn't that Dick Campbell?
Yes.
Dick Wayne's long lost brother, adopted by another family?
Yes. Accurate.
You're all terrible human beings.
Or
No.
Or maybe it's just you. Oh.
No, you don't know who Bruce Campbell is. That in and of itself makes you a
I
terrible
know
human
who.
being.
Well, I should say I think I probably would know who he is if I've seen him in other roles as well. I just haven't seen him in the role you mentioned.
If we pulled him up, you'd know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like,
I don't
I've
know. He's
seen-
kind of obscure.
I don't know who he is.
Pull him
Fight
up
me.
in like a Camaro, just roll by.
Well, you need to see more
Swing.
shitty movies. That's all I'm
No,
going to say.
Not shitty. I would say like the best
Oh.
B movies, like that kind of intentionally bad
Wait,
story stuff.
wait.
That's Bruce Campbell. He makes B
Did you say
movies amazing.
B movies?
Wait.
Yes.
Bunny
Like-
ears, classic bunny ears.
Like B?
I felt too good about that one. Thank you, Teach.
You just snort.
Yeah, I did. I snort when I laugh.
Okay.
That's what I do when something's fucking funny. I haven't snorted at you because you haven't said something funny.
Fucking funny. Sheep!
If I snort when you say something, it was funny.
That is how you know. That's how you know you made it.
Looks like we made it.
That's the future
So,
judging criteria. How many snorts does he get from teaching? 1 through 5.
5 snorts. If it goes, it means a pig's in the room and teacher's laughing.
At the pig.
Dejan's laughing at the pig.
Well, pigs are hilarious.
Especially when they wear top hats. Gets me
Especially
every
when
time.
So, Weeda Bro, what's
especially
up?
when they're arresting you. I'm sorry. Sorry.
The ceiling is up. Tweety
What
bro.
do you feel about the Batman? What do you want to talk about?
I have no interest in
I-
any of the Batman games.
Dude,
That's
the
why I've been
Batman-
So
so
it
silent.
did make an amazing
Alright.
comic that I put up on my images, and it was like one of the funniest things I've seen in a while.
Oh, it's from Ctrl+Alt+Delete.
Yeah, damn good.
Oh, I saw that.
What is that?
Yeah,
do?
that was awesome.
I did that.
He shot the rainbow.
Like
he tore up the Confederate flag, and
then he gay married everyone.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's from the future. They're like, Grandpa, I'm doing a book report on like the week of like June 25th or whatever last week was, and he's like, oh yeah, a lot of stuff was going on. Like Confederate flag was raising a ruckus, but Batman showed up, kicked its ass, and then he gay married
Gay
everyone.
married everyone.
Here, I thought Ctrl+Alt+Delete had been irrelevant for like a year or so, for years now. But I'm happy to see that they still can make some funny shit.
Ctrl+Delete, yeah. No, once they dropped their main story with their main characters and started doing these comics called The Players, it's been much fun.
I kind of stopped watching it
kinda
after they did that whole
found its way. The abortion
not
thing?
abortion. It was a miscarriage. It was miscarriage.
A miscarriage, yes.
I mean, I followed
They
it.
dropped a lot
I
of
followed it
fans
a
when you
little
did
bit
that.
after that, but it just wasn't really funny anymore.
Wait, he did
Yeah.
some. Wait, miscarriage?
Yeah, like the
Yeah. Have you ever read the comic Ctrl+Delete? Okay, it doesn't really matter. But he did a very distasteful comic strip about a miscarriage from one of his
Oh
characters.
dear God.
And it kind of threw a lot of people off.
Well, I don't.
And then
I wouldn't
wanna
say it
read
was
it now.
distasteful. It was just
it was
yeah,
unnecessary.
it wasn't funny. The comic suddenly went from being a funny comic to a oh my god, this is really
Very
depressing.
dramatic.
Like the comics are
Yeah.
really sad, and I hope that doesn't mean like he and a significant other like went through something traumatic at that time, and he was just kind of expressing it through his medium. I hope that's not what happened.
It could have been that, but what it read as was like, I need something edgy to happen, so I'm gonna have some tragedy just come out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And like, yeah, that's real life
Randy
is like
Orton
that.
was just
Because
like,
Randy
Orton came in, RKO'd him,
for
but
months they built up the pregnancy. Like, I think Ethan is the main was the main character's name, and he even made a little miniature like controller for the kid, the baby, so the baby could play video games with him. And then suddenly, Delilah or Lila or whatever her name is, Leela, winds up losing the baby, and I'm like, oh, holy shit! They went there. What the fuck?
Yeah,
what?
This comic just went.
And it wasn't just for like one episode. It was for like several, like a solid month. That it was just shitty. It was just depressing. I'm like, holy, what is going on here?
Yeah, maybe it was just suddenly he had bad times in life and maybe didn't realize it quite as much. But like,
maybe he ran out of Adderall.
All right, you shush for the next 10 minutes. All right.
Wait, he isn't Scottish?
Shush.
With a name like Ethan, I thought he'd be Scottish.
Shush.
On them drugs.
Well, and then, like, after that, didn't they also try to make a animated series that they wanted to charge people for?
They did that before.
Yeah, they called it Ruby.
There's been a lot of very, like, controversial shit around that guy. Like, apparently, like, he hit on fans constantly. He did, like, a bunch of shady shit. Never truly proven, but a lot of people say he did it. So, there's been a lot of people do very strongly dislike that guy for a lot of shit.
What's wrong with hitting on fans?
They were underage, and he's creepy about it.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what you do.
I do not. Do the opposite. I deter fans from liking me.
You deter fans from liking us.
How do I fans with all?
How do I hit on fans?
Well, maybe you need to start doing
I hit on
that.
fans. I whisper comments into spinning fans that blow in
what?
fans.
Oh.
He's talking about like
Hitting on
literal
fans?
fans.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Because it makes your voice sound funny.
Good lord.
So let's change.
I can't believe we just had a Control-Alt-Delete conversation.
So
Let's control.
Let's talk about Applebee's
Open the
and
control
BB Cats.
panel and then quit out of that conversation.
have we already talked about Jurassic World in one of our podcasts?
No, but I'm ready to talk about it.
It is an amazing movie.
So, I've seen it twice now. Yesterday, Ken and I went to see it at the IMAX in 3D, and it was even better.
I'm jealous.
In 3D. It was.
I loved
If you
it.
took Luke
it
with
was
you, you would have 4D.
it was well made in 3D.
Yeah, like-
it wasn't just like with the
Was it
filter
shot
over
in
it.
So watching it in 2D, the dinosaurs didn't really look all that fantastic, but then watching it in 3D, I didn't have the same issues with it in 2D. Like it just looked so much better. So I think they made the movie and did all the visual effects with the intent of watching it, for the audience to watch it in 3D because it looks better.
Is it only 3D IMAX or is it 3D like in most theaters?
I have no idea. We have an IMAX theater near our house, so when we go see 3D, we go to IMAX.
Ah.
I
I
hate you.
do believe on an earlier podcast we were actually talking about how they were actually making the movie to cater to 3D, and we also talked about how other movies had done this before, like 300, how everything looks like they made everything
No.
to be in 3D, and just it didn't look the same.
Really stupid
in 2D.
shots.
Well, that was stylized action. That's a totally like different style. Like look at all his movies; they're that style.
Well, yeah, and if
That's a Zack Snyder thing.
no, so 300 was Zack Snyder doing what he thought 3D should do. So they go out
Yeah.
of the way to like make these shots where like spears come sticking out of the TV, like really stupid shit like that. And Jurassic World does not do that. It's more like Avatar in a way where the 3D just kind of enhances everything. It doesn't. They don't throw anything out of the
It's gotta
screen.
be
at
like
you.
artifacts and shit.
They don't
Nothing
suddenly like freeze frame on a.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Well,
they don't do the
in
whole
Avatar there are a
Matrix
few.
spin around thing. I don't even know why I compared it to Avatar because Avatar is definitely way better as far as like story continuity goes. But the movie is a lot of fun.
It's alright.
Wait, what?
The story.
Avatar is an unoriginal.
You thought Avatar
movie.
was better than something?
Avatar's very good,
You thought the story?
It's terrible.
It's alright.
It's one of those few movies where I will just outright say that is a shitty
no,
movie.
so
I
it's
wouldn't
a-
say that.
it's a
It's the
straight
same
up-
story that's been told in like 7 different movies. If people didn't want to hear that story, they wouldn't go see the movie. Dances with Wolves, Last Samurai. It's a very similar story, if it was
Last
bad,
Samurai's
people wouldn't
awesome.
go watch it.
Exactly. At least it's a cohesive story. Jurassic World's story is like all over the place. It's like
Oh, that's
it's
not
just drunken and
You
staggering
went in to
all
go watch
over.
monsters fight.
And you're like,
There's a dude
They
that
delivered.
eats
I think it was
raptors.
that-
What's not to
They
like?
I
delivered
don't
on.
think it was that jagged of a movie.
I thought
Like story-wise, I thought. I mean, they had 2 or 3 major stories. They wove in decently. It just wasn't very complex in any way. It wasn't suspenseful like the first movie.
oh yeah,
at
there was
all.
no
It was an
suspense
action
in
movie.
it at all. And
Yeah,
like,
it was
it-
billed as an action movie. You're gonna go see monsters beat the shit out of
yeah,
each
that's
other,
what I had
and
to
they
tell
do.
Ken when we went to go see it. It's like, no, don't expect to see a science fiction movie. This is not a science fiction movie. You are about to see a monster movie. So go in with that idea
You're about to
in
see a
mind.
buddy cop movie between a T-Rex and a raptor.
Hell yeah, you're my boy Blue.
Dude, I want that to be the sequel.
What?
Jurassic Cops.
What?
Yeah,
Raptor
Jurassic
T-Rex
Cops.
buddy cop movie.
Yes, please.
Yes,
I would watch it.
build a
Yes.
There's like a cop riding a horse, and then
absolutely
people
has
laugh
to
at
be the
him,
next
and he
movie.
comes back on a dinosaur.
gonna build a mount for the raptor on the T-Rex's back. It will be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work.
If that's they
wait,
literally can't make another movie besides that one. That has to
A
be
cop
it.
riding a
And then
raptor riding
they
a
gotta go
T-Rex.
hunt down Dr. Wu. They bust in
Can
his
we
door.
please,
be like,
can we
find
what
that
up,
fucker.
Wu?
talk about the awesome Wu scene where he speaks to the guy in charge? I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, the
Wait,
billionaire,
Yeah,
whatever
that
his
one
name
guy
is. The serviceable
person.
guy who's
Is
just
this
there to
Jurassic
die.
World?
yeah, well, we're
Hey, he flew the helicopter and tried to kill the...
We don't need anybody else except a professionally
super
trained
reps.
pilot because you're piloting a helicopter with a fucking minigun in it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hey, who could have predicted it? You can't prepare a new flyer to a bunch of pterodactyls. You can't prepare them for that.
They didn't know
There's
they
no
were going to
way.
be
That's
taking
just
down
one of the
pterodactyls.
many
They knew they were hunting a ground
You
problems.
target.
can't prepare for that.
What?
But seriously though, those graphics, man, that was awesome.
What was one?
So-
Dark, what was one of the problems you said?
So
Just stupid human characters.
yeah, really,
basically.
really stupid. Like the stupid human characters, and like this was the only helicopter that had any sort of weapon on it. I mean, you have an entire park that has like 20,000 people in it with giant. You know, he's like, this isn't. It's inevitable. This is going to happen. So they have this really tiny team of people that they send after these giant creatures to try and take it down. Like the security in the park
The
is
hubris
laughable.
of man.
And
It's-
they said the dinosaur cost like $26 million. The guy's like a bajillion or like a billionaire like 20 times over. He doesn't give a fuck about $26 million.
That would
Should have
make him
killed
the
the thing
20
right
billion.
away. And
It's like-
but he was like, no, it's $26 million. We have to let it capture it alive. Like, no, you have so much fucking money. It doesn't matter.
You nuked that dinosaur.
There's like that was
And
irritating.
Chris
they're-
Pratt's character was the best. He's like immediately fucking kill
he
this
was
thing
amazing.
or you're fucked now.
But I can see that security team taking down a T-Rex. They just were not prepared for that Indominus Rex. Like
They didn't know what it was.
the
Like, that
the
was the whole point.
camouflage and like but I could see
Yeah.
I could see them going up to a T-Rex, crawling up to it and like getting that thing because they had all the right equipment for it. Animals and
Yeah.
smaller animals, admittedly, but like nearly as large, have been captured with less.
You put
Yeah,
frog
but this
genes in 'em?
this movie
What?
takes place in the same universe as the first Jurassic Park, where they had a catastrophic failure, and like they reference it several times. So they would have had security measures in place should this happen, and they knew they were making these giant creatures.
They
like
did have quite a lot more than the first film, though. A ton more, actually.
not really.
Yeah, like the levels
they-
of security,
they-
the fences, and
They
the
just
men.
went through 20 years of success.
Yeah.
Of no incidents, and they
Yeah,
got a
they
little
were they
cocky
got
about it.
complacent. Yeah,
It's decently believable.
I don't
that
buy it at all.
People would
that
do
and
that
the
today.
security team, like one character realized we don't know what the fuck this thing is. We can't hunt it, and he's the only character that calls him on that. Like, you can't send a ground team; they'll be screwed because you don't know what it is.
But
Like that's
Oh,
suicide.
and did
Can we
anybody
please
else notice that the cell phone and radio reception sucked whenever a dinosaur was nearby, but it worked perfectly every time there was no dinosaur nearby?
Whoa.
What the fuck?
There's a dinosaur nearby, so our connection is a little choppy. Calm down.
Oh, good. This
Sorry
means
about
that.
that.
You're about to die. I'm okay with this.
But that brings me to a question,
Dun.
with Deborah. The point, like stupid human characters. Why is this movie good and Transformers sucks?
Oh,
Because that's the same problem
no,
in both
I
movies.
said the
It's
same
the stupid
thing
fucking
about-
human
I said
characters.
the same thing about Transformers. I'm like,
The Transformers aren't
Transformers
that
is
good
a terrible
either.
movie, but if you want to go watch robots
Yeah, like,
fight
why
it
do we
out,
call
it's
that
a lot
terrible?
of fun. I said the same thing about this movie. I said this movie is not a good movie, but it's a lot of fun.
I would say that's not the case because it's actually the plot is fairly sensical in this one, which I think is the biggest problem with Transformers outside of the first one and maybe the third one. Because, like, there's no reason for half the shit that happens in the other two, which is why they're terrible. And then the fourth one, they make Optimus Prime a fucking bad guy.
Well,
how do you manage that?
I feel that the plot to this movie was fundamentally broken. I do remember having this conversation.
I don't think so, because they specifically set it up. They set it up to service the action, whereas in Transformers, it's plot first, and the action takes a back seat, which is not why you're there.
Well, if you take a look at the plot in this one, this is one thing that confused me, and one of the problems I have with it. Like, when the movie starts off, you have the main character, the redhead chick, where she's pitching this idea
Claire.
to these company representatives, and eventually they get Verizon Wireless to sponsor the Indominus Rex. So, you know, sponsorship. They're getting money from Verizon Wireless to run this new attraction. Whereas then the twist happens, and you find out that the military has been involved and was behind the creation of the Indominus Rex, has been, you know, pulling all the strings behind the scenes. So if they're getting their funding from the military and they have that much control over what's happening, why would they even need Verizon Wireless to fund this program?
Because they're treating it as an attraction.
And it's also a pretty decent cover story. It's like...
Yeah,
that was the whole point. I would think
the
whole point is to have a cover series.
Yeah, she's essentially the CEO of the front company, and the military is basically the mob. Basically, when you look at it from that mentality. They don't know that they're being funded by, like, InGen and all these other military interests.
I think you're giving
they
this
assume
movie
it's just an attraction.
too much credit.
And it's Mizrahi Industries that actually run the park, whereas InGen's like this what do you call it, subsidiary?
They're like military subsidiary.
Yeah, because they filed for Chapter 11 after the original park closed. So why they're still around functioning as InGen, like that's barely even doable.
It's just the division.
But I can buy it.
It's just Mizrahi Industries.
But the two of them are pretty much in bed together. So the fact that this happens, I'm gonna write this off as the director taking liberties with the script, because there's lawsuits going on over the script because the director decided to change it at the last minute, and now he doesn't want to credit the original writers. There's so much of the story that doesn't seem to fit very well together, and you can assume a lot, which it sounds like what you guys are doing. You're assuming a lot, but I think you're giving the movie way too much credit, because this to me looks more like a Frankenstein of plot lines that have been pulled together.
The assumption is a little more. Well, in the Transformers to this analogy, the assumptions are a little more based in like the lore because of all the books that were written and stuff like that. Whereas in Transformers, they were completely divorced from everything that had really come before.
Well, there's really nothing in these movies that are based off of the books. I have both the books, and this is kind of its own thing.
My assumptions aren't based off that. My assumptions are based off things that they set up within the movie, and it is a Frankenstein movie, admittedly, but at the same time, it's because it needs to be, because they can't hit the same tone again which they made the first one, and they need a new play on when has man taken it too far, because they've already set up this universe where like dinosaurs are cool, everyone's fine, like the park is running as cool.
They took it where everyone knew they were going to take it. Like, this is just naturally how the story was going to end up. Like, again, like the first park failed. First off, does everybody know the first park failed at this point?
Yeah, that's
is everybody aware in this universe?
Larry's wearing a Jurassic Park T-shirt.
Right, so everyone,
they open it up
general
as
public.
When they go through the Jurassic Park gates on the monorail, it's like, this wood was reclaimed from the original park gates back 20 years ago.
But do they call that? Do they refer to it as a failure, or just because of a tragedy, or was it just a failure?
They call it the Jurassic Park incident.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's fine. That's referenced. So I think this story took the natural direction everybody knew it would. Like, obviously, somebody's going to reclaim the technology and going to use it. It's like, well, they failed. Let's do something different and figure it out.
We'll do
it
better.
For 20 years.
I disagree with
you.
And
they created something. They went too far. It was just again, like, I don't see it as a bad movie or anything like that. I just think of it as a simple.
I don't
movie.
think that they're saying the same thing that they did in the first Jurassic Park. The first Jurassic Park was a cautionary tale about technology in the wrong hands. And in this one, I think it's what they're saying is it's not just, it's no longer a cautionary tale. They're saying technology is in the wrong hands. We're putting technology in the hands of big corporations, and that seems to be the big theme of this movie. Even though they're blatantly selling out to all these different companies, but at the same time, it's like that's kind of the point. They're like, yeah, we're selling out to all these companies, giving product placement all over the place. But can you imagine? This is ridiculous, but this is how the real world works, and like we do not need to have these big companies with this advanced genetic technology. And in this way, it seems like the next step of the same cautionary tale. Because like in real life now, we have companies that own sections of the human genome. Like it's copyrighted and owned by companies, and that's a really scary thing to think about. So I think that this movie, at least in some sort of way, originally was supposed to be a commentary about that. About the commercialization of everything and what it's ultimately going to lead to.
Well, for me, it wasn't that. It was.
I think it just wasn't subtle about it. I think they were very blatant.
Well, yeah, they had the one guy who
like they literally go, the T-Rex is now the Verizon Wireless Andromeda. Like everybody in the room goes, ugh. But we know that's just kind of where it's supposed to go.
Well, for me, it's not meant to be that. For me, it's meant to be. The first film was the tale of you can't control nature. Nature is uncontrollable, it's unpredictable. In this one, is that they've managed to get it, but like how if we're so close to perfecting it and it's so normal now, how do we make it so that in this universe there's a scarier thing than that? And that's the just the I don't know what's the best way to word it.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
It's the sheep in the room.
It's just the beating of nature. It's just taking nature and dragging it through the dirt and being like, look, we've beat you, nature, and now we're going to make you make something that is absolutely horrific and an abomination against life.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, the whole commercialization of everything. Because if you look at all the excuses that they make for why this creature exists, they're like, well, according to the focus groups, well, according to our investors, according to, there's all these different things that every commercial entity is very, very involved with and very, very concerned about. And that's kind of what they are. So they made all these really bad decisions based off of focus. And it kind of reminds me of EA. How EA is keeps on making all these really stupid decisions, but they're like, well, according
it's commentary
to our focus
more
group,
on.
This is what people want.
I mean, that's how all market research is done. It's done by committee. So, in general, for most business, you run a business plan by a committee, or you run an advertisement by a committee, and they all go thumbs up. It's generally okay, that should succeed in the general populace, and that's more of a commentary on. Obviously, it's we're providing a thing that everybody's gonna love, and it's because we think people are stupid. So it's more of a commentary about all those. I thought the way you saw those 20,000 people in the park were treating it like a zoo and manhandling the dinosaurs that they could touch, and it was franchised out, and you saw a guy with $30 margaritas trying to grab them and jump away from a pterodactyl.
I thought that was really funny, actually, because there would be some asshole that'd be so concerned about his margaritas.
Here's the thing about that scene, too. I originally thought, I saw that scene, I said, that's fucking hysterical. Some extra just went I'm going to do this because the camera's on me, and it's going to be hilarious. But no, I learned later that was Jimmy Buffett, and he was a friend of the director, and they inserted him into the movie to do that. So it was planned. It wasn't some funny extra. It was totally planned, and it sucks.
It was a fun joke.
Yeah, but it's funny, but it's it ruins it. I thought it was some
if you know
random
that it was on purpose, then it's no longer funny.
It's Jimmy
I thought it was just
Buffett.
some random
the fact
extra
that they went out and got him to
do
it. That is cool.
It's funny, but it's just not as funny.
You're saying it like it's the worst joke ever.
No, I'm not saying that like that.
The tone with which you said it was it's totally fucking ruined.
How have we gone from commercialization in nature to Margarita Man not being funny? What happened here?
I don't get it.
Welcome to the podcast.
He's wasting away again in Margaritaville.
Anyway, I don't think it was that good of a movie. It's just there's nothing going on in movies right now. There's literally nothing. Yeah. Avengers has tailed off, and we're not going to have anything until Mission Impossible comes out. So Jurassic World gets to be what up, bitches?
Well, I'm going to say, I didn't think it was a terrible movie. With the score I gave it for Rotten Tomatoes, I gave it a 7 out of 10. So it's definitely
about what I'd put
it's definitely in
maybe an 8.
It's in the good, but I love movies.
It's a perfect storm of timing.
Yeah, I
just
love
for
movies,
the money.
I love storytelling, and this. What? Okay, sorry. What? Go ahead.
I just want to ask you a very important question. Do
Ask
you
away.
think it's a more worthy successor than the last two films?
Yes.
I do.
Okay, just checking.
I think it'll turn out to be the highest-grossing theatrical thing of maybe all time.
I'm a little saddened about that because I don't think it deserves that, but
I
whatever.
would say Transformers don't, and they're up there too. And this is a better movie
Yeah,
than
it is better
any
than
of the Transformers movies.
It is.
I like Transformers.
And, don't even get me started.
This
on
is
that.
a case study of this is why you plan exactly where your movie's going to go, and you need to nail it. Because it didn't deserve this much because it beat freaking Pixar. It beat Pixar in its opening weekend.
know,
that's
I-
fucking insane.
That is so sad. And this new movie from Pixar is
see
supposed to
that
be
movie.
absolutely amazing. I've not seen
Yeah,
it
it
yet,
got tens across the board,
but yeah,
and it's
everyone
not winning.
loves it. I need to see
And it's
this.
doing very well too,
What
like
movie?
$400-500 million, and it's not winning.
What movie?
Like
How
that's
would you
crazy.
say Fury Road compares to that?
I think
The
Fury Road
movie's
is
going out right now.
as fun, but in a totally different way.
Yeah, completely
Different
different
type of movie.
tone,
What
completely
movies
different
from
genre.
Pixar?
You really can't compare the two.
But they're both great fun times at the movies. Got to see
I would
them
say
on a big
Fury
screen.
Road is more
Totally.
of a niche type film.
Oh, it's a George Miller movie.
Yeah. So it's not going to appeal to it'll appeal to a lot of people, but it's not going to have the massive appeal of something that's something like Jurassic World, which everyone knows about Jurassic Park, or something from Pixar.
Like we're
everyone knows about Disney
demoing
and
Jurassic
Pixar.
Park on a 4K at Best Buy. Like we're still playing a 20-year-old movie. Like that movie, it's an all-time classic.
But-
And you know what's kind of sad to me, awesome but sad, is that I'm still comparing the visual effects to this movie to the dinosaur effects in the first movie.
Yeah, they were really well done.
They still hold up.
It didn't seem like that old of a movie when I watched it.
There are a few things I noticed when I was rewatching it. Like I could tell that's an animatronic, but
Yeah,
you know, it is what it is.
I liked so in the first movie I loved the animatronic of the Triceratops, but then when they redid that scene in Jurassic World with the it wasn't a Brachiosaur this time around. I think it was just a Brontosaurus.
Apatosaurus?
I don't think it was an
Yeah.
Apatosaurus. Whatever it was, but they didn't really say what the name was. But yeah, whatever the long-necked dinosaur of choice was,
Yeah.
like I thought
the
that,
one where they was dying.
yeah,
and
I
everything.
thought that when I
Yeah.
was looking at that with the
Littlefoot.
Triceratops in the first movie, I never caught myself thinking, hey, they're interacting with an animatronic. Like I just kind of felt like it was a real dinosaur. Even rewatching it as an adult, like there's little things that you can tell it's a robot, but in general, the overall feel is, yeah, it feels like a dinosaur. But this time around with the head that the actors were interacting with, I'm like, this definitely feels
That
like
was
they're
the-
interacting with a robot.
That was the only graphic or visual effect thing I was like, ooh, that was poorly designed. Like it didn't, like the eye especially, it looked weird.
Yeah.
It just looked weird, and maybe I don't know.
Maybe that's
But
what
literally
dinosaurs
all
look
the others
like.
are like.
Stop making fun of them.
Well, that's kind of the cool thing about the movie too. They throw like, yeah, they'd all have feathers if they were supposed to be real. You don't want real. You want us to just make
I'm
a
I'm glad that they addressed that.
That
too,
was
'cause
awesome.
That was one of
That was-
my pet peeves about this movie. But you know what? I really, really, really hate is the way this movie opened with that fucking like blackbird foot on the snow. I'm like, why? What is the point of this intro? And then the Christmas music at the beginning, and then the tone completely shifts. I'm like, what is going on here? This makes no sense.
Setting up the
It is
subplot.
their present to
Instead
you.
of the
Their
main
present
plot.
of your movie.
No, what they should have done, the movie should have opened with Chris
They want you to
Pratt
just
imprinting
chill.
on the Velociraptors, because they are where the all the emotional
Han Solo.
bonds are. They're really the only emotional bond in the entire movie. Like it should have opened with him imprinting on the Velociraptor instead of baby Rex coming out with her
Well,
sister.
I count our emotional connection to Chris Pratt as an emotional part of the movie. So I'm cool with it.
Whenever I see him without a shirt on,
Dude,
I get
But,
emotional.
dude, the
when we started this,
I want to see him as Nathan Drake.
It was just stupid, and then that bird was just so like blatantly CG badly
I know, but
done.
the-
I'm like, why would you
the
open
bird-
a movie with
Wait,
that?
they have badly done CG in a movie like this?
It was
That's kinda sad.
exceptionally terrible. Like you look at that and you're like, that bird is fake. And then they put the bird in the scene with
fine.
real people, and it just kind of flies off. You're like, what was the point of this? Why did you even show us
It
this
was-
really
it
ugly
was-
bird?
the bird was meant to be, a reference.
I think what it was is they just wanted to set the standards for everyone really low, like really confuse you. You're like, why am I looking at a foot, this bird foot? And then you're looking at the CG bird, and you're like, okay, this movie doesn't know what the fuck
Well,
it's
it's also
doing.
the
So when it
parallel
actually gets
between
going, you're like, hey, this is
birds.
actually really good. My standards
I-
were so low.
I just saw it as a reference to the first film, and the whole discussion with the dinosaurs being from birds thing, and then because Tim said that in
birds
the
from
first film,
dinosaurs,
This movie does like fillet the first movie so badly, like it kind of loses its own identity because there's so many scenes that are completely like retakes of the first movie. Like if you watch the first movie and then watch this movie, you'll see it. Like there's
I
like
appreciate
half a dozen scenes that are almost
callbacks and symmetry
frame per frame.
I mean,
the same thing.
It's 20 years after the point too, so it's okay to make a few callbacks.
No, it's not a few.
Look,
like 75% of this movie is a throwback to the first movie. And some
there are like 15 callbacks.
Have you guys ever watched Chuck, the show?
The
pilot and the very series finale are like mirrors of each other, like the same white and black text on the intro, which was never used in any place else but the series. Scenes where places were shot, locations, fights. It was all like mirrored to each other, and it was freaking amazing. I kind of like that kind of symmetry in writing and in cinematography stuff, and I think it was pretty well done. Especially the one where like the Indominus is like tearing through the old hotel where they're at instead of like the T-Rex coming to like get the raptors or whatever. Now it's the inverse of that. I thought that was cool.
Do you think it could be? Do you think it could be a case of the last two films were so disconnected and everyone hated it for not being like the original that this film tried to emulate the original so much that just kind of hit that note of okay, I can see this being the next film.
All those moments were like callback. Okay, continue with the story.
Because like the movie had a hard-on for nostalgia, which I liked.
Sense.
Even like some of the visual shots and the things they said, like when the Claire yells "run," like it's just like the same scene, the same shot. It's like
it seems like they've done it a little too far than just simple like talking about the first movie. I think that would have been probably a better route story-wise if they just mentioned it, but not like copied every scene from it.
But again, I want to clarify.
I don't copy scenes.
Like,
they
the events of that movie have to have a massive
scenes.
Fucking shadow. Like, they have to. Because of what happened.
Well, and I like that the movie actually incorporated that. Like, they know they even say, like, the one guy with the Jurassic Park t-shirts, like, the first park was, like, legit. It was, like, the real thing, and, like, we're just the imitators. Like, it's like, he's kind of calling out...
I loved his character.
Yeah, he's kind of, like, calling out the actual existence of this movie.
He was the audience stand-in, like, the whole time. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and I did enjoy his character a lot. And as much as I see a lot wrong with this movie. And like with a lot of things that I love, like the things I love most, I criticize the most because I can see where they could have done better. I don't hate this movie. I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray because I did genuinely have a really good time. But I also can see where it has a lot of problems and where like stuff just didn't really make sense. And like, she did not really wear high heels through the whole fucking movie.
She wore high heels in the jungle. It didn't make any sense.
Like,
that's the thing that pissed me off the most.
That's literally impossible. You cannot.
She can't be running from a T-Rex in high heels.
What are you talking about? She just did it.
It's not possible.
No, they're like the bottom of the
guys,
high heels are actually like repulsive to the ground.
Guys, it's empowering.
They're like the
guys,
she had to train to run in those. That was planned the entire time. They said you're going to be in heels the entire movie. You have to train to run.
One of those shoes
that was
Shell
part of her
in Portal. Like
those,
they were
it's like that technology. So that
guys, you do not understand. If she can own a boardroom, she can own the jungle.
They even do the scene where she like rolls up the sleeve with the shirt. She's like, "I'm ready," but you didn't take off your shoes or do anything. You're just like, and now you're just.
And Chris Pratt's like, I love that. My favorite line of his was probably, "I was in the Navy, not the Navajo." It's fucking great.
Can we?
Now that's a character that had no character development.
No, it was totally fine because he was awesome from the jump. Like
Claire did.
Okay, she had a little bit of character development, but that's even debatable because like she knew that these animals
and
were
the
real.
kids.
They didn't have any character development.
Of course they did. The small kid learned to be brave. The brother learned to be brotherly.
The brother was already brotherly.
They had more character development than the main character.
They had that little callback where he's like, "You remember that ghost in the garage scene where because I was there to protect you. As long as I'm here now, so you have nothing to fear about. It's nothing to worry about." Like he's just being a douche because he's got raging teenage hormones, and there was no character development.
Yeah, no.
Well, TJ, I don't think
the thing with the two Jurassic Park movies that I like is that the kid actors were not annoying in this movie or the first one.
Yeah, I don't know.
They were.
I'll give you that.
I thought they were pretty good.
They
didn't annoy me at all.
I don't like that kid, the youngest one. He was bad in Iron Man 3. And this one, he was just there. Yeah, he was the kid in Iron Man 3.
Oh!
Well, that's the thing. They didn't give him normal kid like dialogue.
Yeah,
He was just spouting off facts
I
the
liked
entire
how
time.
excited
No,
he got, though.
They put him as like a super genius, which is like,
Yeah, that made no sense.
why?
He just reads a lot of books.
Yeah, he wasn't
make him super genius.
super genius. He was just spouting facts.
He knows
Because
facts.
that's what some
No, but
kids are like.
his
Some
brother
kids
said,
just
aren't you
read
supposed to be
and
some
then
sort
There's a
genius
few times
level
where they
of
go
intellect.
to it, like the math stuff. He just immediately spouts. Like, what kid knows that on the top of their head? That's
They
like
just do that.
clearly a 9 or
And,
10.
They just do-
Like,
and
That took one of those
Linux
programs
Girl.
you see on the television.
Some kids don't know what to say during situations like that, so they just revert to something that makes sense to them. And like, I'm helping, guys. See,
Yeah, I
this
completely
thing
bought
we're
the younger
offering?
brother, especially
Yeah,
with
I
how
get-
like super
yeah.
excited he got about everything. Like even his
Yeah, that
voice
part I
cracks
get.
when he's so excited. Like he's like bouncing. It's like, can he slow down? And the older brother's like, no, he can't. Like that's just how he is.
I was worried that they were going to dwell on the divorce stuff like too much, but after like that scene where you see them in the boardroom with the lawyers, they didn't really dwell on it that much, which was
like,
like,
just
he just like referenced it and he's like, okay,
This is a dinosaur movie, and there's like boardrooms with fucking lawyers. What?
backstory, dude. Don't worry
and
about
that stuff
And a
really
story
only lasts
movie.
like 20 minutes, and then
See,
bam,
that's something else that they kind of
dinosaurs.
failed in this movie to do.
Good.
Like, they gave each, like almost every single character, they gave some sort of like backstory instead of focusing on one and really fleshing it all out. So. It just kind of feels like a clusterfuck of like there's too many backstories going on here. Which one am I supposed to care about?
I don't know. I thought they had 4 major characters, and I thought they got sufficient screen time. I thought Chris Pratt got the least screen time of those
Yeah,
characters.
he needed to be introduced
So-
way
But-
sooner because the
But
movie
he's also the
really
biggest
didn't get going
star,
until he
so like
started.
people were immediately gonna relate to him just because he's Chris Pratt. Like you don't need to
listen,
focus on him
but
because
Raptors-
his character.
Blue was the star.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
Because
Blue's the boy.
Raptors.
I
Like
I
yeah,
really
you don't
like
need
how
Chris
Blue-
Pratt to have a backstory. He's Chris Pratt.
I love how
people are gonna go be
expressive-
in seats
Who is
because
Blue?
of him.
the
Well, from what we know, he was in the Navy, not the Navajo.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what we know
Yeah.
about his backstory.
And that's fine. It's like you don't need to get a huge backstory on your protagonist. They just need to be the vehicle
Because
with which the
Raptors.
story is told. They don't need to be a huge.
I want.
They don't
I
need
want a
to.
little
They
backstory
can
from
be.
a major character.
It depends on like in like to put in video game terms, like Master Chief until recently has like literally no character.
I'm glad you
and that's fine.
I'm glad you made that reference. Actually,
Yeah, the original Star Wars.
But that's a first person action.
But
view. It's
but
not-
they are telling it in a very narrative driven focus.
Well, and also like a
it's
very
kinda
cookie
similar.
cutter type focus because like Chris
Yeah,
Pratt's
it's
character, like he like
it's your
snatches that
faceless
fly out of the air, and I'm like,
protagonist.
oh, okay, so this guy is pretty much like the Jurassic Park version of Indiana Jones. Like that's the character
Exactly.
he's going to be. Like every single
It's
character we had
it's
in
a
this
character
movie,
in
yeah,
himself.
they were just caricatures. They didn't really feel like full real people. But once the movie kind of established that, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what to expect now. So the main character chick, Claire, was that her name? It's like she's going to be the person that brings a spreadsheet on the first date. Okay, that's weird, but she's a cookie cutter, so yeah, that's fine. Chris Pratt's going to snatch flies out of the air and live in a bungalow and make flirtatious passes at this chick that no one in their right mind should really ever want to go on a date with. Okay, that's his character. Like, and everyone just kind of filled their character niches, but they never really felt like real people. They're just kind of like, oh, the villain. I love the villain because he was like one step away from like twirling his mustache and petting his cat behind a desk.
Yeah.
Like he was just so blatantly the bad guy. I'm like, wow. Could you
And for a
get it
movie
more
about-
obvious?
And for a movie about dinosaurs,
taking over
I'm
now.
cool with it. I mean, they don't need to be amazing characters.
There is
because
one
I'm here to see
scene I
dinosaurs.
really want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, but wait, I have a question
You talking
first.
the final
No,
scene?
you're
Isn't
not
it
allowed.
pronounced niche?
No, shut up.
The
Pronounced niche.
What's the
It's
scene?
pronounced niche.
the Petrodon Moasaur lady scene.
What?
Oh yeah, when she like, you're like, oh man, is she gonna die now?
Yeah,
Is she gonna die this time?
that-
Oh nope, she's fucking gone.
Only what I was terrified a few moments in the film because I really got into it, like because
Yeah, there were a few moments it like got super like, oh man, I'm tense as fuck right
yeah,
now.
like it got really dark at some points. But when she's like lifting off into the air and she gets dropped, and you think, oh my god, she's gonna hit the pavement, and then another Petrodon grabs her, and it's like, okay, her chances of survival have gone up, but oh my god, and she gets dropped in the water, and you're like, Mosaur's gonna get her, grabs her Petrodon, pulls up in the air, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then the Mosaur eats her alive. Like the idea of being eaten alive, not chewed or anything, just into a gullet and then into a stomach,
You're in
and
the
then
belly.
burned alive by acid. That moment was
Well, she'd
She
suck
wait,
it
got
first.
she got Boba Fetted.
that moment.
Do
Is
not
Bob Wave here?
watch Attack on
That
Titan.
moment
just say that.
I watched it and that was too real for me as well. This moment was way too real. Way too. I was sitting in my seat just like traumatized. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that part bothered me.
Has Wobwave seen this movie?
The movie, like, it somehow managed to like get you to like have emotional reactions to scenes, which other movies and monster movies just don't. Which is one of the reasons I think it's doing so well. Like the scene where the Indominus is chasing the two kids, and I'm like, oh man.
That was Ken's
when they
favorite
jumped
scene.
off the cliff. I was like,
yes.
"Fuck!"
He actually like
that
grabbed
scene
my
made me go
arm
like,
and
"Jesus
squealed
Christ!"
when that happened. He's like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
but like
the whole thing, like the way it was shot, the music, and like their acting, it was like, "Holy goddamn!" I'm really tense right now. That was awesome. And like, yeah, that's why one of like you have to like have that movie separate from like other type of action monster movies, and not to hit on the Transformers. You feel like nothing emotionally watching those movies, like at all.
No, yeah, point. Like I've watched every single Transformer movie, but I only bought the first one because the rest were so fucking terrible that I couldn't justify it.
Yeah, the third one was the only one
them.
after the first, like when like they get captured and Bumblebee's like gonna get killed or whatever. I was like, okay, I'm feeling kind of sad right now, but not really.
No, I just kind of watched it for like the siege. The third one was like the siege of what city was that?
Chicago.
Siege of Chicago.
One of those cities.
That was pretty cool. It was kind of epic, but
cool.
Again, there was no like emotional resonance in it. It was kind of like in Pearl Harbor when the bombs start dropping. You're like, okay, this is cool. It's tragic, and then it keeps going, and it keeps going, and you're like, all right,
hundreds of people are
guys,
dying.
please.
That's because you're not a
Stop
patriot.
with the bombing now. And it was kind of like that. It's like the siege started.
Well, no, but
and then
war
it's
is not like that, my friend.
It goes on for an hour.
That was being historically
Harbor
and
accurate.
you're like,
happened.
okay, please, let's
So-
just stop and move on to something else. I'm ready.
This probably isn't a good reference because, Pearl Harbor happened.
No, the movie didn't actually happen.
I mean, it's a historical
No,
exaggeration.
No, Pearl Harbor didn't happen.
Yeah,
but-
it was basically him masturbating on history.
Yeah.
What was it?
It is
But
a
when-
historical
it
exaggeration.
harkens back to like you saying that these characters are caricatures, and that is completely true. Like they're all just stereotypes of like everyday people, and you find it hard to relate to them whatsoever. But every death in that movie I related to so much because like that is terrifying and brutal. Like
Yeah.
like the moment where the security guard gets eaten in half by the Dominus Rex, and then like the other guy is hiding behind a truck really poorly, and he's fat, and you're like, oh my god, he's going to die right now, and he does.
He's so gonna get eaten.
And then the Adonis Rex starts sniffing where Chris Pratt is, and like they did something a bit ballsy, I think, in the scene. They actually showed like blood like streaming from his teeth and his mouth, and I was just there like, that is horrific. That is absolutely horrific. The guy's blood is still on the Rex's face, and it's just.
I think it's just
I
Mr.
now know
Welsh
what to
and
do
you're
because of
scared
that scene when I'm confronted with the dinosaur, cover myself in gasoline.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah,
I should have.
When de-extinction happens,
Doesn't that work with
and the T-Rexes
bees?
are running free, and the Indominus Rexes are running free, just cover yourself in gasoline, and you'll be all right.
just hope they don't
Now,
find
vinegar is the
gasoline
worst
that
thing you can
smells
put on
good.
because T-Rexes love vinegar.
is delicious.
So don't do that.
Yes, do not.
T-Rexes
do not be
love
covered
that
in
shit.
Vinegar. Garlic also doesn't work. They're not.
You know what I
vinegar.
really
Something
liked about this
Is
movie?
it because they have such a sour personality? Okay.
Oh. I really liked that the T-Rex in this movie was the original T-Rex from the first
Oh, that was
Jurassic
awesome.
Park. Like the first time I saw it, when they're like, it has that scene when the kids are inside that log and they're watching the feeding, and the little voice is saying, "This may be intense for people or for young children, so don't let them look." I'm looking at this T-Rex and it's all scarred up and old looking. I'm like, that's got to be the original T-Rex.
That's right.
Is it the same
Yes,
T-Rex?
it is.
Is it the
They
same?
said that during the press tours, and I was like, I think I know where the ending's gonna go. And I was like a
Oh.
third of the
It's
way
same
right
T-Rex for
with
both.
the fight, but
I had the
Okay.
ending spoiled to me in the worst way imaginable.
Oh no, that's terrible.
this ending was good.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
best
tweeted
part of
to
the whole movie.
I bought the Lego Jurassic World game.
Oh, you played it?
No. I purposefully didn't play the Jurassic World part to not get this, but I bought the guide because
The guide
because
ruined it.
I flicked randomly.
You had to buy the guide to a Lego
Look,
game.
I couldn't, I wanted to get the achievements and I couldn't be bothered to find every single brick individually. But look, let's forget that for a moment. How sad I am. I flicked open to a page, and it was a Lego T-Rex fighting a Lego Indominus Rex, and I was like,
You're like,
"Are you
damn
for
it.
real?
Damn it, that's what's
Is this,
happening.
Okay,
is this actually happening right now?
Can I
like just forget
can
this?"
I just make fun of Zach
Yeah,
real
do it.
quick? He waited till 1010 to retweet that we started the podcast and we're like about to finish.
You know what, Zach? You failed.
Fucking
There
Zach.
is such a thing as if you're
Coming.
There is no thing. Better late than never is not always a thing. Is what I'm
You know what I'm so happy that they didn't do in this one? Like, they psych you out where you think that the T-Rex is, like, beaten, and I'm like, no, they cannot do... Like, Jurassic 3 did this, and everyone hates that movie. They did not just have the new dinosaur beat the T-Rex, and then...
Did you notice the Spinosaurus skeleton?
You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah, then the T-Rex comes back, and I'm like, alright. Yes.
Did you notice the Spinosaurus skeleton when she comes crashing through the Spinoskeleton? And then
No, I didn't
roars
realize
in
that
the
was a
abdominal
Spinoskeleton. Oh, okay.
It was like she did, like you when you watch it again, you kind of notice like she just smashes through it, and then she's like roaring, and I'm like, "Fuck you, Jurassic Park 3! Fuck you so hard."
Was the aviary in the movie the same one from the third one?
Is the what?
The third movie doesn't
the
exist in
aviary,
this universe.
the pterodactyl.
No.
Well, here's my. Was that an attraction or was that like an abandoned aviary?
No. According in the first dress in the novel, the original novel, the aviary was a major part of the book. There was a whole section that happened inside the aviary, and they kind of shoehorned it in with the third movie. But I was kind of glad it actually made a proper appearance this time around. Like, yes, that's exactly what I imagined it to look like from the way it was described in the book. Good job, guys. I just wish you would have like shown it sooner, so it doesn't pop out of nowhere halfway through the movie.
That's why I didn't think it was like an attraction. I thought it was like
No,
part of the
it was
old
an
park or
attraction.
something.
Yeah, it was straight up open.
Okay.
But again, the movie did a really bad job of like showing the whole park in its entirety and what's in it. I really wish they would have like shown it sooner, so you actually didn't just be like, "Hey, where'd this aviary come from?"
But what I was gonna say,
I totally forgot I was going to bring this up.
there's a
you have an aviary? Doesn't
really cool
everyone?
plot point which isn't featured in the movie. It's featured on the Jurassic World website. You know Hoskins?
And the Lego game?
No, not in the Lego game. Screw you.
Vincent D'Onofrio's character.
Is it holding B to
No,
win
it's,
the game?
Don't spoil the Lego game.
Hoskins.
Just saying.
Those
Hoskins'
Lego
character.
games are
Type
I
in
just
the
did hold B
Konami
and
code.
crazy.
Hoskins' character is described on the website like they set him up as lead security guy after he came back from Canada hunting the pterodactyls that escaped from the island in the third film. Like he hunted them down in Canada and then came back.
See,
He died.
I like that they're kind of incorporating the other mediums into the movie, but this is the type of shit that they should actually mention in the movie for people that are not connected. Because like they had the whole website that was like the website was supposed to be like acting as if the theme park were real. So you go to the website like JurassicWorld.com and it gives you a tour of the island and everything. Like it acted like the place was legit and you could get all sorts of information about it. And then you go to watch the movie and none of this information is presented in the movie. It's like they expect you to go to the website first.
It's a different experience though. Like I think that's interesting, delivering different content through different mediums.
It's kind of cool.
It's like it actually happened.
What
if it was a
5 years from
documentary?
now-
It didn't really. It wasn't pertinent.
Yeah,
to
5
the
years
story,
from now,
yeah.
if you're wanting to show this to someone and you're like, oh, well, we need to preface this with, on the website, they had this, but since I'm showing this to
it
you
wasn't
now...
pertinent to the story.
It's not
That's
something.
what
It's not,
collector's edition Blu-rays are for.
it's not as
It's the same thing with including a Star Wars book as part of canon. It's like you don't need
No,
to
but
know that. It's just a
it's
different
not
way
the
of
same
doing
thing,
it.
though, because this is something that was directly tied to the movie. This was advertising for the movie. It's like, you go to this for the movie.
I think what Webb's trying to say, the words W, Mr. W. I think what Mr. W is trying to say here.
Just call me Dark.
Doc. Okay, thanks, Doc. What he's trying to say here is
Just
that
not one
there's
Dre.
awesome plot points inside of the website that would have been awesome to have mentioned in the movie, so that like the broad spectrum of people would know it, rather than the small section of people who actually went to the website to look it up.
Yeah, exactly. It would have enhanced the whole thing.
It's bonus material.
It shouldn't have been bonus material. This is stuff that would have really helped.
You wanted to see that content.
Not
Enhanced.
all of the content on the website, of course, but like the major stuff that really added to the background of the characters. You're like, what's this character about? I have no idea. But then you go you see on this website, you have this history of this one particular character. Like, why didn't they mention this in the movie? That would have been really cool to have known.
And the only way you really know that Rexy is actually Rexy is
It's because the
that they
director
mentioned-
said so.
They mentioned in the website that like Hoskins came to the island and captured the animals again.
I mean, I figured it out just because the T-Rex was old-looking and beat-up-looking, and I'm like, there's no way they would have a new attraction that looked this bad.
The scars,
did you notice the two scars on the side of it, side with the raptor from
Yeah.
the first one, like, it slashed her.
And actually, that's one of the reasons why I love the ending so much, when she's, like, looking at Blue, and she's like, look, I've already been through this once before with raptors on my back. You just do your own thing. I'm leaving. Peace. Like, I loved that.
It needs to be a buddy cop
I love
thing.
that.
Like,
They need to be a team.
I hate that everyone's pointing that out. It's like, like, why would a T-Rex do that? It's just like, it literally just had a fight to the death. It's not going to pick a fight with a raptor. That just helped it.
Yeah, and
again,
like, it establishes that these animals are relatively smart, and so, like, having the T-Rex has went through this thing already with the whole Velociraptor thing. It's like, you know what? I've had Velociraptors on my back. See these scars here? No. I'm done.
Too old for this
if you
shit.
leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. And they kind of have that exchange there, and then it just walks away. I'm like, yeah, I like that.
I also love the exchange between Chris Pratt and the Raptors straight after that. With
like,
the
don't
Raptors,
give me that shit.
The Raptors looking at Chris as if to say, like, what should I do? And then Chris does. He doesn't say anything, and it's such a simple thing where he just nods. Like, no, sorry, he just shakes his head, and he's like, no.
And that's what I'm saying, where all the emotional resonance was between him and the Velociraptors, because they did such a good job, and the Raptors' eyes were so expressive this time around. Like when they have their heads inside those little cage things, and like all they have to do is like snarl and move their eyes. Like you really get the feeling of like the hatred they have towards the bad guy, the mustache twirling, cat patting bad guy. And then like how they just kind of tolerate the black dude that was there. They're like, okay, he's friends with Chris Pratt, so we'll just be okay with him. And how they just kind of like are much more relaxed with.
I'd like to think they referred to him as Mama.
Mama. Well, because he did imprint on all of them, so it does make sense. And again, I wish they would have shown that. He mentions it, but instead of opening up with the damn CG bird, like I really wish they would have shown him imprinting on the Raptors. I think that would have been so meaningful, especially at the end, as the Raptors are starting to die, and you see this look on his face where he's like, my baby, it's gone, like my Raptor's gone. But having like seen him bonding with them when they were infants, I think would have really helped drive that home a little bit better.
I also really like.
I can't wait to see this movie.
I also really like to see when they select the new alpha, and then they all look at Pratt, and like it shows on the video screens they're all looking at him.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit.
It's like that was a really nice little like
Dude, I had this feeling that was going to happen the entire time. I'm like, they're going to do this awesome scene, then they're going to see the thing, and then they're just going to turn. It's going to suck.
But they had to have a way, for the Raptors to be the good guys, but at the same time have that whole horror scene where the Raptors eat everybody, and that was the best way to do it. I thought it worked really well.
They ate NGen. They're fine.
I honestly don't think Echo would have gone for Chris, like when she looks at him.
No.
How do you know that was Echo?
Because he describes the other two as
those three look the exact same.
No, they don't. They got different colorations based on the lizard DNA inside them. Like I think blue has like specific one that makes it blue, and like
yeah,
I think
blue is blue.
You know what? One little thing I really liked, a little nuance, is when the Raptors were attacking, and I wish I knew his name. I don't want to just keep calling him the black guy, but he's like the only black guy there. So he's inside the log.
His name was Token?
He was Bishop in Days of Future Past.
So he's inside that log, and Blue is like trying to get him, and then he's like he just kind of shouts the name like Blue, and like she stops and like looks and like, oh yeah, I know you. I don't really hate you. And then she like gets distracted and does something else. It's like I thought that was just a nice little subtle thing they put in there with her behavior.
Yes, this is Blue.
She's like, oh yeah, I know you. I'm sorry, I got caught up in the moment. I really don't want to kill you right now, but, I just got carried away. Sorry about that.
Later.
Like, she almost seems surprised with herself. Like, oh, yeah, hello.
It also says a lot for his. It also says a lot for his character, because like, him and Chris are meant to be the type of people that would throw away their lives to make sure that these creatures that they've raised don't get killed needlessly.
Yeah, and he's like, don't you hurt my raptors. I love that. Oh, God, guys, we are like 20 minutes over. We need to wrap this up.
Yeah, Lucas has got to go to work in the morning.
I gotta go to work in the morning.
I just want to mention
in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
They're making a Top Gun 2.
They don't need to. They can just stop doing that right now.
It will star Tom Cruise.
If it's called Danger Zone.
I'm just going to say this now.
Just so.
I'm really looking forward to the flabby, naked volleyball scene where you see old man tits and like just them hitting balls and them getting out of breath 2 seconds later. Like,
Highway to the Heifer Zone.
You know what?
Actually, I just watched the trailer for Top Gun, and it's still fantastic. Awesome. So 80s, but so awesome.
Should I do my spiel?
Special treat here because you are here, so you can do
All
the
out for
spiel. Yes, do it.
Dude, I was on like 2 weeks ago. Like, it's not that rare for me to be on these days.
Keep telling yourself
And
that.
I'm scheduled for the next like 4
yeah,
months
if,
too. I think
you'll
I'll be
show
on
up
every.
like twice.
So, thanks everybody for watching the TFT podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at the Forum Thread and at TFT Plays. You can subscribe to us on YouTube for our TFT Productions channel and our TFT Plays channel. You can find us on roosterteeth.com. You can join our group. You can find us on Facebook. We have a bunch of other fucking... Oh, iTunes. Subscribe to iTunes. That's pretty cool. Also, we have a panel at RTX coming up, so look forward to that. Yeah, we do. You didn't know that?
No, I'm saying yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. So that's going to be awesome, and everybody should go to that. So,
Go.
what else? What did I forget? Anything important?
Dinosaurs.
SoundCloud.
Forgot the
SoundCloud doesn't count anymore.
SoundCloud.
No, that doesn't even need to be mentioned.
Minecraft.
Fuck those guys.
iTunes.
TF
Tunes of I. So thank you, everybody. We will do this again same time next week.
Wait, I
Wait.
do want to mention that we have now released the TFT Talks comics and cartoons.
Which
Yes!
the intro of the comics one was.
So,
Where can I go to find
was
these?
yeah,
On TFT Productions
yes,
YouTube.
or the iTunes that we just mentioned, because that's now being regularly posted as well.
And now no one is listening because it's the end of the
iTunes.
podcast.
Well, you know.
End of the
Make sure
podcast.
to come back every Wednesday.
Bye.
Every Wednesday.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Night. That was sounding very sheepish.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. No.